In Calgary. And this afternoon, on this rather cool November afternoon, the Grey Cup champion Winnipeg Blue Bombers and the Calgary Stampeders come snoot to snoot in the first game of the Western Conference Final. A best-of-3 series to determine Western Canada's representative in the Grey Cup Final at Toronto 2 weeks from today. This is the second consecutive year in which these two clubs have fought it out in the final. Last year, it was over in the minimum number of games as the Bombers took it 2 in a row. We're just about ready to have the introduction of the players. The fans still piling in. There are lots of them, and a close-to-capacity crowd is expected. Jack Wells standing by with the starting lineups for today's game. The telecast of this game between the Calgary Stampeders and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers is coming to you from Calgary.
Wherever a wheel turns, an age advances, a nation grows, you'll find industry setting the pace. And VA is geared to industry. From VA Petroleum comes energy to make things happen. Lubricants to keep things happening. From VA Petroleum, products and petrochemicals to help make new things happen. Yes, wherever things are happening, whenever skills are needed, however tough the challenge, you'll find VA fulfilling its pledge of continuing leadership, clean across Canada.
And now with the starting lineups for this afternoon's game, here is Jack Wells.
Thank you very much, Al Shaver, and a good afternoon, everyone. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers starting offensive lineup is now being introduced here at McMahon Stadium in Calgary. We'll run down it for you. George Drucksmann at center, Sherwin Thornton at left guard, Rod Humanock at right guard, Frank Rigney at left tackle, Cornell Piper at right tackle. Left end will be Bill Whistler. The right end is Ernie Pitt. The quarterback is Kenny Plain. The left half is Leo Lewis. The right half, Ron Latterell, Charlie Shepard, and Roger Hagberg, the double fullbacks. And now the Calgary Stampeders are being introduced here. The offensive lineup. And it's Dale Parsons, number 62 at center. And number 62 is Don Lussey. Number 51 coming on your screen now is Anderson. Number 60 is Holmes. Number 45 is Hector. This may be the big surprise of the starting lineup. Number 54 is Ernie Dangine of the Calgary Stampeders. Number 55, Wayne Harris, who is the West nominee for the outstanding lineman in Canadian football. Number 11 is Bill Britton. And number 10 is Jerry Keeling. Number 25 coming onto your screen now is Miller, who had a tremendous series against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Number 22 is Lavelle Coleman. Number 21 is Harvey Wiley, the nominee for the West for the outstanding Canadian-born player for the Shanley Award. And that will be made known, of course, just about a week from today. So the starting lineup for the Calgary Stampeders: Dale Parsons, Bill Crawford at left guard, Hal Grebs at right guard, Ron Albright at tackle, Roy Djokonovich at right tackle, Pete Manning at left end, Phil Lohman at right end, Eagle Day as the quarterback, Ed Buchanan at left half, Jim Dillard at right half, Earl Lunsford and Larry Robinson at fullback and flanker. And there you have the starting lineup for today's ball game. Al, there was no spectacular changes. Possibly the only surprise was the fact that Childress is not dressed today.
Childress played the second game of the semifinals in place of Don Luzzy, a defensive tackle, Jack. But today they want the weight against this big Winnipeg club, so they put Luzzy back in there. He had a minor injury, but he's okay now. The officials: number 1, the referee, Paul Dojak of Regina. Number 2, the senior umpire is Bill Nairn of Winnipeg. Number 3, the junior umpire is Taylor Patterson from Regina. Number 4, the head linesman is Tom Cheney of Calgary. Number 5, the field judge is Jim Piper of Edmonton. And ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem. Chilly afternoon here in the foothills city. The temperature 24 degrees. The wind from the south-southeast at 10 miles an hour. The sky is overcast. A very dull afternoon, and a light snow is expected to fall during the game. The field is in good shape, a little hard, but not too hard for cleats. They're all wearing cleats out there. The Bombers at the north end to the left, the Stampeders the south end to the right, Calgary in the light sweaters, the Bombers in the dark sweaters. Larry Robinson, number 15, stepping back for the kickoff. And back to receive for the Bombers, Lewis and Jansen. And here's the kickoff, and away we go. Down to the 15-yard line to Jansen, the 20, the 25, the 30, over one of his own blockers, and brought down on the 35-yard line. The tackle for the Stampeders by number 57, Reg Fleming. And it's 1st and 10 for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers on their 34.5-yard line. Bombers offensive backfield at quarterback Kenny Plain, the halfbacks Leo Lewis and Ron Latterell, and the fullbacks are Charlie Shepard and Roger Hagberg. Plain in number 11 on the screen, down on one knee, and it's George Bruxman over the ball. Latterell in motion, the pitch is to Shepard. He runs into Pat Holmes, and Holmes pushes him back after a gain of about 2. Pat Holmes, number 60. In his first year with the Stampeders, a big defensive tackle. It's a gain of 3. It'll be 2nd down for the Bombers, 7 yards to go, and out comes the Calgary trainer, Larry Chase. Apparently we had somebody shaken up on that play on the far side of the field. 62, Don Luzzy. No, Luzzy's all right. There's somebody behind him. Here he is. We'll get him for you in a moment. Could be 54. It is Dan Jean. Number 54, Ernie Dan Jean, one of the top interior linebackers in the Western Conference, limping noticeably, as you can see. In comes Phil Lohman, number 77, to play the inside linebacking position with Wayne Harris, and Dan Jean trots on.
You know, Al, this could be a big difference for the Calgary Stampeders. Although Dan Jean doesn't appear to be seriously injured, but he is a terrific linebacker for them. He's on the sidelines now.
Could be a bad one, as you said, Jack. 2nd and 7, Bombers, Plain to the pocket. Out for Latterell, can't reach it. 2nd, 3rd and 7, Winnipeg. A kicking situation, and that means Charlie Shepard will come in here. As a punter this year, Shepard averaged 43 yards per kick, kicking 62 times. He's on the 25. Wiley and Miller back to receive. A beautiful ball coming down to the 24, taken by Miller, to the 30, and pinned on the 31-yard line. Bill Whistler, 79, was down there. So was Rod Humanock, 54, and there's a flag on the play. Could be piling. The original tackle by 67 Rigney. Phil Lohman will go both ways until Dan Jean gets back. Lohman is the Stampeders' strong side end. The Stampeders' strong side consisting of Krebs at guard, Jukanovic at tackle, Lohman at end, and they could line up to either right or left of center. Jim Dillard, number 20, the halfback, will always line up beside the strong side, which is now to the right. Robinson is flank right, the wide man, the left end Manning split. Buchanan is in the slot. The handoff to Lunsford through the middle, brought down on about the 49 or 50-yard line. In on that tackle, number 44 Warren, 62 Savoy, and 63 Patrick. The gain on the play is close to 5. It'll be 2nd and 5 Stampeders, just short of their 50. A special welcome to all of the football fans watching the telecast this afternoon in eastern Canada. Flanker Robinson left, strong side left, Buchanan to the right, and the right end Manning splits. Dillard in motion right, takes the handoff, ducks the tackle from Herbie Gray to the 50, the 55 for the first down. Forced into touch at the Bombers' 54-yard line by Savoy and Miller. And there's the first down in the ball game.
Bringing you Canadian professional football is BA's way of saying thank you for turning in all year round. Megman made a great block on that last play, Al.
Harvey Wiley taking the pause that refreshes in front of the Stampeder bench. 1st and 10 Stamps on the Bomber 54. Robinson flank left, the right end split, and Buchanan in the slot. Dillard and Lunsford back for the handoff. Goes to Dillard. To the 50, and driven back from the 46-yard line. The tackle by Nick Miller, who's playing the corner for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Nick Miller, 24. Jim Dillard, a rookie with the Stampeders this year from Oklahoma State. Big boy. In the East today, the Hamilton Tiger Cats came from behind to down the Montreal Alouettes 28-17 for an 11-point lead in the total point Eastern Final. 2nd and 2. The handoff to Dillard again for the 3rd time in a row. Crosses the 45. A nice low shoestring tackle by Gar Warren with some help from Miller. The ball to the Winnipeg 44, close to a first down. They're checking this one carefully. The referee, Paul Dojak. That's Herbie Gray, number 53, also out there trying to line it up in his sights, and they want the change. The Bombers, incidentally, are favored by 4 points today, and they are quoted as 2-1 favorites to win the series.
There's one big change in the Calgary lineup for this afternoon, Al, and that is Tony Pajikowski, who was voted the outstanding Canadian player last year. Tony's out with an ankle injury, but they have a young fellow in there by the name of Krebs, and on those running plays to the right with Dillard carrying, Krebs has made the key block on all 3 occasions.
Stampeders 1st and 10 on the Bombers 44. Winnipeg lines up in defense 5-4-3. Right end is split. Buchanan slotted. Dillard to the left with Robinson. A handoff to Buchanan on the sweep. The guards are pulling, and Buchanan is stopped right on the line of scrimmage. That's Gar Warren, 44, on top of him. He got help from Delvo and Rawhouse. The guards pulling again. They're pulling them all over the place today, John.
Well, you know, Calgary have been noted for those 2 pulling guards this year. Al, I don't think there's a club in the conference, especially the Western Conference anyway, that have fine pulling guards like the Calgary Stampeders. And Grabs is filling in for Pajikowski, as we mentioned before, and doing an outstanding job. He has ever since he took over from the Pad.
Stampeders 2nd and 10 on the Bomber 44. Lunsford straight back, and to his right, Dillard. Eagle Day, back to throw. The rush from Delbo, it's good to Lunsford to the 40, to the 35, down to the 32-yard line. The tackle by Burkholder, and they put it on the 53, or the 33. It's a first down.
You may recall in Regina, Al, when the Stampeders played the Rough Riders, Eagle Day was yelling for a little less noise when he was calling the plays. I expect that when the Bombers go into that offensive formation, that this Calgary crowd will be giving you some of the same.
Calgary 1st and 10 on the Bomber 33. The left end split. Lunsford and Buchanan are the setbacks. Double flankers right. Lunsford on the slant across the 30 to about the 27. They tackle by Rawhouse, the safety, number 70, and number 62, Savoy, defensive tackle, who, Jack, was Winnipeg's nomination for Lineman of the Year.
That's right.
Had a fine season. Roger Savoy.
I think he's played with the Bombers 12 consecutive seasons, Al, and I think this is his finest year.
Calgary 2nd and 4 on the Winnipeg 27. Robinson goes wide to the right. Buchanan is to the left, and the left end Manning is split. Setbacks 20 Dillard, 27 Lunsford. Lunsford again piling over the 25 to about the 23. He will be close to a first down. 62 is Savoy, and on that tackle again was 63 Patrick, the middle guard. A measurement is required again. The telecast of this game between the Calgary Stampeders and Winnipeg Blue Bombers is coming to you from Calgary. The Stampeders inches short. It's 3rd down. Day on a keeper, and he should have it. Boy, look at that pile-up of players. Looks like a stack of hotcakes.
You know, I thought Eagle nearly dropped that ball. I don't know. We'll wait till we unpile there, Al.
Number 61 on the bottom for the Stampeders, Lou Jakanovich, the strong side tackle, and it was over his broad shoulders that Day flew through the air with the greatest of ease to a rather uncomfortable landing. First down, Stampeders on the Winnipeg 22.
You know, Al, playoff time, you can always tell when it's football playoff time because the Travelers always seem to end up at the site of the ball game. We got Lou Bruce up here this afternoon, who played a tremendous game in the Grey Cup final in 1960 for the Ottawa Rough Riders. Matter of fact, Lou should have won that award.
The setbacks, Lunsford right and Buchanan left. Lunsford was slowed down by the defensive end Gray and then pushed back by Savoy, Delvaux, and Patrick. A gain of about 2 to the 20-yard line. 1 make it. They put it on the 21. It's Calgary 2nd and 9 on the Blue Bombers' 21-yard line. No score in the football game. 7 minutes and 35 seconds left in the first quarter. Almost half gone, and the Bombers haven't had the ball yet. Pardon me, they did have it for one sequence. Jump pass to Dillard, no good. At the 10-yard line, Jim Dillard, it was there, but Jim couldn't catch the handle on it.
He was in the clear, Al.
It'll be 3rd and 9, and this looks like a spot for Larry Robinson to come in, the Stampeders placement expert, who this year led the league by making good on 61% of the field goals he tried, 8 out of 13. That was the highest percentage, 61%. Jerry James kicked 12 good ones and led the league in that department, but his percentage was only 44. Keeling holding. It's up, and it's good. With 7 minutes and 6 seconds remaining in the first quarter, the Stampeders lead 3-0.
Courteous service, quality products, and televised Canadian professional football are brought to you by the BA dealer in your neighborhood.
The Bombers will scrimmage from their 35-yard line, and Winnipeg now in possession for the second time in the game. The two clubs go back to Winnipeg on Wednesday night for the second game, and if a third is necessary, it'll be played in Winnipeg a week from this afternoon. The handoff to Hagberg, who was left to the 40. Somebody's helmet came off. By golly.
That looked like
It was
a
it was a bomber helmet that popped high into the air. Let's see, 54, Humanuk, the guard. And, well, that's body contact for you at its rip-roaring best, Jack. That helmet popped straight up. The gain is a little better than 5, about 5.5. The Bombers are second and 4.5 to go on their 40.5-yard line. Lotterell and Lewis flank right. The pitch out is to Hagberg, and he's stopped on the 43 and pushed back. Harris and Dan Jean, the interior linebackers, in on that tackle. 70 Furlong, the defensive left end, and Luzzy, 62, the defensive left tackle. The Bombers are 3rd and 2 on their own 43. Dan Jean is back in the lineup for the Stampeders. Calgary sending back to the right 21 Wiley, to the left 25 Miller as punt receivers, and Charlie Shepard back on the Winnipeg 30 to punt. The ball bounces, rolling back to the 25, gets by Wiley, fumbled by Miller, picked up by Wiley, and the 20 gets away from Rigney, and then a hard tackle by Whistler, 79. Stampeders on their own 20, 1st and 10. Jack, I think we're going to see some great defensive football here in this series. The two clubs very alert defensively all throughout the season. They each recovered 18 of their opponents' fumbles this year, and the Bombers led the league in pass interceptions with 22. Manning splits left. Robinson is flanked to the right. Setbacks are Dillard and Lunsford. This is Dillard slanting to the 25. Thornton, 14 in on the tackle with 70 Rawhouse and 52 Burkholder. The gain is about 5. It'll be 2nd down, Stampeders, 5 to go on their 25-yard line. 5 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Calgary 3, Winnipeg no score. Robinson flanks left. The right end split. Eagle Day calls signal. This is Buchanan sweeping the left side. The guards are pulled. Nice blocking there. The 30, the 35, 40, 45. He's jarred loose from the ball by Rawhouse up on the 50-yard line. He may have got into touch a little earlier, though. We'll see where they spot it. At the 44, it's a 1st down. And once again, Crawford and Krebs pulling guards, leading the blocking.
I don't think you'll see sharper pulling guards than those two fellows out there today, Al. They're terrific. Of course, this has been Calgary's strong point all year.
They've got great guards, just like the old Piper-Kotowicz combination of the Bombers, who were the best in the country while they were playing those positions. Kotowicz, of course, is retired, and Piper is now playing tackle. 1st and 10 Stampeders at their 44. The pass, no good for Manning at the 55. The telecast of this game between the Calgary Stampeders and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers is coming to you from Calgary. Stampeders 2nd and 10 at their 44.5. Manning splits left. Dillard set right with Robinson. Day's pass is intercepted right into the arms of Thorson on the 55, the Calgary 50, 45, 40, 35, 30, 25, 20, 15-yard line, and it was Larry Robinson, number 15, who finally got to fleet Dick Thornton. And there is what we meant when we said a few minutes ago that you're going to see great defensive football in this series. Thornton coming up with a tremendous pass interception.
I have on the records handy, Al, but Thornton has made some key pass interceptions for the Bombers on more than one occasion this year, but there was a big one for him. There's only one thing for sure that we know about this ball game, that one of these clubs will be in CNE Stadium 2 weeks from today.
Bombers on the Calgary 17, 1st and 10. Kenny Plain rolling, throwing, and no good. Too far for Leo Lewis at the 5-yard line. 2nd and 10 Bombers. 3 minutes, 19 seconds left in the first quarter. The Stampeders lead 3-0. Last year, when these two clubs met in the best-of-3 Western Final, Winnipeg took the Stampeders out in 2 straight. They beat them here on the 18th of November, 14-1, And then 4 days later in Winnipeg Stadium, the Bombers really shellacked the Stampeders 43-14. Bud Grant from Superior, Wisconsin, where he was born in 1935. Make that 1927, and he is 35. Plain being rushed by Furlong, gets it away. It's complete to Shepard at the 10, and pulled down on the 6-yard line. Charlie Shepard, that looks like a first down. The tackle by Bill Miller.
Losey and Furlong had the big rush on Plain. You had to hurry it.
Bombers first and goal line to go at the Stampeder 6. The Stampeders use only a single corner linebacker, number 11 Britton, who will line up either right or left. The pitch is to Hagberg, slanting, driving, and stopping about the 3. Wiley, Luzzy, and Wayne Harris in on that tackle with Jerry Keeling, number 10. Roger Hagberg, who's in at fullback today, he has seen action as both a halfback and fullback this year. He's teamed with Shepard as the Bombers' twin fullbacks, while Lewis is at left half and Latterell at right half. Latterell hasn't seen too much action at halfback this year, Jack.
This is his third game as the starting halfback for the Bombers this year.
A minute 46 seconds left. Bombers threatening. Second down on the Stamp 2.5. Pitch is to Shepard, and he's in there for the major score, Charlie Shepard. And the Bombers go out in front 6-3 with a minute and 37 seconds remaining. And now they'll go for the extra point. Jerry James will come in to kick the convert. Jerry, deadly accurate on his convert attempts over the season. Tried 47 and was good on 41 of them for 87%. The left-footed kick is good. And the Bombers lead 7-3.
Winter driving conditions can put an extra heavy load on your battery, folks. Better see your British American dealer for an expert battery check. Do it today.
The Bombers will kick off to the Stampeders. Over the regular season, the two clubs met 3 times. The Bombers winning here on August 13th, 45-27. On August 30th at Winnipeg, they beat the Stampeders 26-1. And October 13th at Winnipeg, the Stampeders won 19-15. In the 3 games, the Bombers outscored the Stampeders 86-47. Gordy Rowland will kick off. The deep men are Wiley and Dillard. It's a short kickoff, bouncing across the 20, picked up by Dillard on the 15, to the 20, the 25, to the 30, big hole there, the 35, and up to the 40-yard line. The hole was there for Dillard, but the Bombers closed it quickly. Pitts, Thornton, and Rowland in on the tackle. Stampeders at their own 40, first and 10.
Dillard nearly had it all the way there, Al. They formed that channel for him. He was going straight up the middle.
Stampeders out quickly. Robinson to the right. The left end split. Wiley in place of Buchanan at the halfback spot. The handoff to Dillard up the middle. The 50 for a first down. Rawhouse and Miller making the tackle. We have Harvey Wiley playing in the Stampeder offensive backfield now in place of Buchanan. At Bomber defensive line, 63, Savoy, the middle guard, Patrick, the middle guard, Savoy at left tackle, Hamlin right tackle, Gray is the left end, Delvaux the right end. Stamps first and 10. The handoff is to Dillard, and he's piled up at the 53-yard line after picking up about 2.5 to 3 yards. Herbie Gray, number 53, who has to be one of the greatest defensive ends in the history of Canadian football. Buchanan, walking up and down in front of the Stampeder bench, appears to be limping a little bit. Is that Buchanan, Jack? I think it is.
I think it is, Val. I think he's going to the dressing room, too.
Looks like it. Ed Buchanan. 2nd and 7, Stampeders. Gray rushing. The pass is away. It's good to Manning, and he's down to the Bombers' 37-yard line where Rawhouse and Burkholder pull him down. It's a first down. The gun sounds, and after 1 quarter of play, Bombers 7, Stampeders 3. The telecast of this game between the Calgary Stampeders and Winnipeg Blue Bombers is coming to you from Calgary.
Turn in at the side of the big V8 for gasoline that leads the way. Then you'll get service fit for a king and products that make your engine sing. Follow the leader all the way. Turn in at the side of the big V8.
Is there really a difference in gasolines? There is when they come from the pump with the bright red final filters. You see, all gasolines can pick up trouble-causing impurities in storage and transit. But VA's exclusive final filter screens out these damaging impurities, making VA 88 and 98 the cleanest gasolines you can buy. Yes, it's VA's final filtering that makes the big, clean difference in gasolines. Another example of continuing leadership from VA.
Clean across Canada.
As we turn into the second quarter of the football game, the Stampeders in the white sweaters now attacking from the north end to the left, and the Bombers in the dark sweaters descending the south end to the right. The Stampeders on the Bomber 38-yard line, first and 10.
Al, not only the pros are in playoff action, but football right across the nation. For example, the Nanaimo Redmond Juvenile Canadian Football Club in Nanaimo, the champions of Vancouver Island, meet the Winnipeg West End Rand Juvenile champions. That's at 8:30, November the 30th at Victoria, BC.
Stampeders first and 10. This is Wiley. The guard's pulling 50. Crawford makes block on Thornton, and he's down to the 34 where he went into touch. Wiley in touch at the 34, a gain of 4 yards. It'll be Stampeders 2nd and 6 on the Bombers 34. As Jack mentioned, Ed Buchanan has gone to the Calgary dressing room, limping. Not badly, but limping. 2nd and 6, Stampeders. Day in the pocket. The pass is good, demanding on the 20. Gets away from Rowland and pulled down right on the 20-yard line. Rawhouse and Jansen got him. It's a first down. The Stampeders on the Bombers' 20-yard line. Winnipeg is leading Calgary 7-3.
That Manning, hard man to contain little old Tony Pachikowski there. He's not playing, but I think he's working as hard as those pulling guards.
Great guard himself. He's probably pulling on every play, Jack. First and 10. Lunsford straight back of Day, and to his right, Dillard. This is Dillard with the handoff straight ahead. Crosses the 20, and he stopped at about the 17 after a gain of 3. Gar Warren, 44, and Dave Burkholder in on the tackle. It's 2nd down 7, Stampeders on the Winnipeg 17. Norm Rawhouse, 70, the safety for the Bombers. To his right, Jansen, 32, is the right half, and to his left, number 14, Dick Thornton, the left halfback. On the right corner, 27, Rowland. On the left corner, 24, Miller. The interior linebackers, Warren and Burkholder. 2nd and 7, Stampeders. The lone setback is Lunsford. The pass is incomplete. Warren batting that ball down for Winnipeg. The Stampeders are now 3rd and 7, right straight in line with the goalposts, and Larry Robinson will no doubt be called upon to go into his specialty, which is kicking field goals. Keeling will hold. Robinson has picked up 3 points already on an earlier field goal. It's up there, and it's good again, so Mr. Robinson is 2 for 2 this afternoon, and the score is Bombers 7, Stampeders 6 in the second quarter. Jack?
Another big football game tomorrow afternoon in Winnipeg, Al. The Dominion Intermediate Final between the St. Vital Bulldogs and the Toronto East York Argos. That's tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock at the Winnipeg Stadium. Final filtered BA 88 and 98 are the cleanest gasolines you can buy and give you the full power you can expect from your engine. Get it today, BA 88 and 98.
Bombers 1st and 10 on their own 35. Latterell to the left. The wide man, Lewis, also left. Playing a long one down the field, and it is no good. Intended for Lewis. He was covered by Miller and Wiley. Incomplete. 2nd and 10 Bombers on their 35. This final series is, in effect, the youth of the Stampeders, who averaged 23 and a half years, as compared with the experience of the Bombers, who averaged 25 years of age. In overall weight, the Bombers averaged 209 pounds per man to Calgary's 206. Both lines average 222, but the Bombers have an edge in backfield weight. Their backs average 197 pounds to the Stampeders 190. 2nd and 10 Bombers. Pass to the left flat is over Lewis's head, incomplete. The Bombers are now 3rd and 10 from their 35-yard line. That means Charlie Shepard will come in to punt for the 3rd time, and Bill Miller will go back with Lavelle Coleman. Coleman taking Wiley's place in returning punts. Wiley has gone on offense in place of the injured Buchanan. Shepard back at the Bomber 22. A high, wobbly ball. Coleman waits it, takes on the 36, trying to get away. He's trapped there. They box him in and drop him on the 39-yard line. Down on the tackle, 43 Drexman, 77 is Pitt, and just getting up 54, Rod Humanuck. On these two teams, we have 5 players who were recently chosen by the general managers of Canada's 9 pro clubs for the All-Canadian 12-man team picked for a national magazine. The players are Luzzy, Padjakowski, and Lunsford of Calgary, and Plain and Lewis of Winnipeg. Quite an honor for those 5 players, all great ones. 1st and 10 Stampeders on their own 39. Manning is split right in the slot as Wiley. The handoff to Dillard breaks through the middle to the 45, and they pull him down on the 45. Nick Miller and Gordy Rowland, the 2 cornermen. They gain 6. The Stampeders 2nd and 4 on their own 45-yard line. You'll note the heater on the Stampeder bench. There's also one on the Winnipeg bench. It's a little chilly today. Well, Mr. Gus Brunley, thank you very much for your telegram. 2nd and 4. Eagle Day back into the pocket. Throwing and is complete this time to Lunsford to the 55 for the Winnipeg 50. Tackled by Rawhouse, Warren, and Burkholder. 1st down for the Stampeders. And Jack, even in this chilly weather, the passing has been deadly accurate thus far in the ball game, particularly by the Stampeders.
Well, you know, Al, it's 23 degrees here in Calgary. I don't think this is any phenomena. I think this is a darn good football weather for this time of year. But as you say, both, well, especially Day, he has been passing very well. Plain has been rushed.
1st and 10 Stampeders. Lunsford. Straight ahead to the 45. He bumped into Steve Patrick, and with his force drove Big Steve back a little bit, but Herbie Gray knifed across to finish off the ball carrier after a gain of 4. Stampeders 2nd and 6 on the Winnipeg 45. You'll note the Stampeders' oblong huddle. That's so they can weave out to the strong side, right or left. Jump pass. It's complete to Dillard, and he's down to the 36-yard line where Rawhouse and Rowland drop him. It's another 1st down. The telecast of this game between the Calgary Stampeders and Winnipeg Blue Bombers is coming to you from Calgary. First and 10 Stampeders on the Bombers 36. Lunsford, the handoff through the middle, across the 30 to the 25, and still fighting for yardage to the 21-yard line. where Rawhouse makes the tackle. Earl Lunsford, who last year in Canadian football rushed for over 1 mile of yardage. Number 27. They call him the Earthquake. He has fabulous balance. You hit him at the line of scrimmage, and he stays on his feet and manages to weave away, as you just saw. Dillard knocks down Krebs, one of his blocking guards, and they grab him for a loss on the 25. He ran into Hal Krebs, one of his pulling guards who was blocking. Delbo, 23, and Herbie Gray, 53, the principal tacklers for the Bombers. It's a loss of 4. It's Stampeders 2nd and 14. 7 minutes and 45 seconds remaining in the first half. Bombers 7, Stampeders 6 in a real dandy. Day's pass to the left is short for Wiley. And it's 3rd and 14 Calgary. They're on the hash marks, 25 yards out. I don't know whether Robinson will get the call here or not. We'll see. Keeling has come in, and he always comes in to hold. Robinson has been good on 2 for 2 this afternoon. The Bombers getting a touchdown from Shepard, which Jerry James converted. And Robinson will try for 3. He'll be kicking off the 32-yard mark, Keeling holding. It's no good. It's wide and short and taken on the goal line by Jansen to the 5 and across the 10 and into touch at the 13-yard line, where he was run out by Furlong, 70, and Britton, 11. The score remains Bombers 7, Stampeders 6. Winnipeg 1st and 10 on their 13-yard line. Jack, who are you going to have at halftime?
Well, we'll have Jack Matheson, the sports editor of the Winnipeg Tribune, as one of our guests, Al. And Len Yount, the assistant coach of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, who arrived here with his entire family to take in the ball game. You think old cousin Len would take time out from a ball game, but he's here enjoying himself, he said.
Plain, the pitch is to Shepard. He's at the 15. The head is down, the knee's driving, and he's driven back at the 17-yard line. Met in there by Wiley. Number 54, Dan Jean. Number 70, Furlong, and 62, Luzzy. The gain 4 yards. The Bombers 2nd and 6 at their 17. The snow, which was predicted, has not as yet commenced to fall. A light snow was forecast for some time during the afternoon. Lewis in motion to the left with Hagberg, and the handoff to Shepard against the flow. He's up to the 20. Stopped on the 20-yard line. Dan Jean was in on that tackle. And also in there, 51, Larry Anderson, 62, Luzzy. It's short of a first down by 3 yards. The Bombers will be 3rd and 3.
A Bomber running attack certainly is not going today, possibly because the Stampeders' defensive unit is playing a real tight ball game, Al, but Plain has only called Lewis on 1 occasion.
22 Coleman and 25 Miller back to receive. Shepard standing on the Bombers' 7. Little low on the snap. Gets it away, and a beautiful kick it is. They wait for it to bounce a high hop. Miller has to go to the left, takes it on the 41, and ooh, he was hit hard. 64, Cornell Piper, 54, Humanuck, and 55, Thorson, all in there with a jarring tackle.
The statistical story should be rather interesting at the half, too, Al. You know, folks, for televised football and the finest in products and service, it's VA all the way.
Stampeders 1st and 10, and as you can see, the ball just shy of their 45-yard line. 5 minutes, 20 seconds remaining in the first half. 7-6 for Winnipeg. Robinson flanked right with Dillard. The left end Manning is split. Wiley's in the slot, and the lone deep back is Lunsford. The rush is on from Burkholder. Also in pursuit is Gray, who makes the tackle. Back on the 30-yard line for a loss of almost 15 yards. Herbie Gray number 53, and boy, there is vengeance on 2 feet if you ever saw it. When that guy comes after you, look out. The Stampeders, 2nd and 25, back on their 30-yard line. Gray at the left end, Delvaux at the right end, 62 Savoy the left tackle, 63 Patrick is the middle guard, and 61 Hamlin is the right tackle. Manning is split right. Wiley slotted. Dillard is left with Robinson. Gray rushing again. The pass for Lunsford can't quite catch it. Bobbled it there momentarily. Incomplete. It's 3rd and 25, and that is a punting situation, and the first time this afternoon that the Stampeders have been forced to give up the ball on a 3rd down punt. They have gone for 3 on 3rd down on 3 occasions. This is the first time they'll actually have punted. Back to receive on the right, 31 Latterell. You'll remember him in that great Grey Cup game last year. 32 on the left is Jensen. Jim Furlong on the Calgary 17. Gets away a beautiful spiral. Back they go. Taken by Latterell on the 27 to the 30. Weaves to the 35. A tremendous run back by Latterell. He ducked Parsons and then was tackled by Albright and Lohman. First down Bombers. This telecast of the game between the Calgary Stampeders and Winnipeg Blue Bombers is coming to you from Calgary. 4 minutes remaining in the first half. Bombers 7, Stampeders 6. Ends are tight. Right end is split now. Pitch. And here's Lewis to the 40 and across the 40 to the 43-yard line. Leo Lewis brought down by Wayne Harris, number 55. The gain for Lewis, almost 8 yards. It's 2nd down and 2 Bombers. Leo Lewis, number 29, one of the most exciting football players in Canadian football. Lewis is to the left. The pitch is to Shepard, and he's up to the 45 for the first down, I believe, stopped on the 46 by Harris. It's first down, Winnipeg.
The consensus seemed to be before this series got underway, Al, that the Bombers may have had an edge in the punting department, Shepard versus Jim Furlong. Furlong has only punted once, and that was just a couple of plays ago. And if that is any indication of the way he is going to kick this afternoon, there is not going to be much difference. That was a dandy.
They tell me Furlong's punting over the season has improved vastly. Plain to pass. It's over the head of Whistler at the 55. Incomplete. It's 2nd and 10. 79 Bill Whistler playing the offensive left end for the Bombers in place of the injured Farrell Funston, who's through for the season with torn knee ligaments that require an operation. Funston was particularly effective against the Stampeders this season, and Coach Bud Grant feels that his absence reduces the Bombers' offensive power by as much as 15%. Shepard has gone out of the Bomber backfield, and let's see who's in there. It's Jerry James. Number 28, Jerry James, in place of Shepard. Latterell right, Lewis left. Hagberg in motion. Plain goes back, rolls, throws long down the field, and it is no good. The intended receiver, Latterell, fell at the Calgary 35-yard line. Keeling and Wiley, 10 and 21, were covering. Pepe Latterell fell at the 35 on that long pass play.
The one noticeable thing in this first half of the ball game up to this point, Al, Kenny Plain, the quarterback for the Bombers, is missing those receivers. And I don't think he's had that much of a rush put on him.
3rd and 10 Bombers on their 46, and Shepard back to punt. Back to receive there are Coleman and Miller. Gets away a beautiful high end-over-end ball. It is Miller taking on the 20. Well, he's surrounded right there and dropped on the 23-yard line. Rod Humanuk, big 54, in on that tackle for the Bombers.
Well, that was Shepard's fine punt. That was high. Brought snow down with it, Al. Mr. B.A. is glad to bring you all televised playoff games and invite you to turn in and see his complete line of B.A. Sentinel tires and the great new B.A. Winterway.
Less than 2 minutes remaining in the first half. Bombers 7, Stampeders 6. Calgary on their 23.5-yard line. Deep backs are Dillard to the left, Lunsford straight back of Day now in motion. And this is Dillard through the middle. And they had that one spotted. It's piled up on the 27-yard line. In on the tackle for the Bombers, Hamlin is 61. Warren 44 also in there. The gain is 3. It'll be Stampeders 2nd down and 7. Larry Chase, the Stampeder trainer there with the cap with the S on it. Pitch out is to Dillard, going wide to the 30, the 35. Brought down by Gordy Rowland and Gar Warren, and also in on that tackle, Jack Delvo. It's a first down. 1 minute and 5 seconds remaining in the half. We're in the last minute, as you can see. First and 10, Stampeders. Day fakes the pitch out for Dillard. There's a flag. The long pass is intended for Robinson, but couldn't get it. Gordon was back there covering with Rawhouse and Jansen, the 3 deep men, and there's a flag. Referee Paul Dojak discussing it with the Bombers.
We talked before the game out, you may recall, that we thought, too, it seemed to be the consensus that Robinson could be that payoff back for Calgary if they ever spots him in the clear, and he threw the bomb there, but he was well covered on that particular play.
The Bombers have refused a penalty against Calgary for illegally putting the ball into play. It is 2nd and 10, Stampeders on their own 35. Day rushed by Gray, throws to the left flat, and everybody after it, and let's see who's got it. Nobody. It bounced out of the hands of Manning, and then Buchanan couldn't get it, and Buchanan pushes Rowland, and the tempers are on edge. Ed Buchanan back in the ball game for the Stampeders after going to the dressing room earlier for some kind of repairs. 18 seconds left. Stampeders 3rd and 10 on their own 35. Latterell 31 and Jansen 32 are back to receive for Winnipeg. Furlong standing at the Calgary 22. 8 seconds showing. Whoa, a big rush put on there as Thornton broke in. It's taken by Jansen on the 45 to the 50 and brought down on the 53 as the gun sounds. The first half is ended. The score, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers 7, the Calgary Stampeders 6. The telecast of this game between the Calgary Stampeders and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers is coming to you. Now,
Here they are, the brand new line of VA Sentinel tires. And here's just part of the story behind their development. The project to create a completely new kind of tire, one that would meet and beat all the extremes of Canadian driving conditions. Able to handle frantic rush hours, bone-jarring stops, wicked potholes, and tortuous mountain trails. The best roads and the worst. It took long hours translating ideas into sketches, comparing dozens of designs to find the one incorporating the most advanced tread and sidewall features. Sculpting in clay a perfect reproduction from which an actual tire would evolve. Now came weeks of testing in the lab and on the road, even on Canada's Mosport Raceway. No, it wasn't easy, but it proved beyond doubt that VA Sentinels are truly superior tires, more than tough enough to tackle any road in any weather. VA Sentinel tires, priced to fit every budget, sold and guaranteed without question by VA dealers everywhere. Another example of continuing leadership from VA.
Clean across Canada.
Hi, everyone. Jack Wells reporting from McMahon Stadium in Calgary, the site of the first game in a best-of-3 series for the Western Professional Football title between the Calgary Stampeders and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, with the Bombers leading at the half by a score of 7-6. Here's a summary of the scoring plays in the first half of the ball game. The Calgary Stampeders hit first as they moved from their own 40 down to the Bombers' 28, and the drive was snuffed out by the Bombers, and Robinson dropped back to kick a 28-yard field goal to make the score 3-0 in favor of the Stampeders. Also in the first quarter, Dick Thornton intercepted an Eagle Day pass, the only interception of the ball game so far. And from that drive, the Bombers went down to the 25, and then Charlie Shepard went over from the 3 to make the score 6-3. Jerry James has been used sparingly as an offensive back, kicked the convert, and the score was 7-3 in favor of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. The only scoring play in the second quarter took place when the Calgary Stampeders came back. Data Manning on 2 passes, one in the first quarter, and then he hit him again at the start of the second quarter to set up the Calgary second score this afternoon. And once again, the drive petered out inside the Bomber 25, and Robinson was called on for another field goal attempt. He made it good, and the score read 7-6. Robinson had another shot at a field goal attempt late in that second quarter, but the shot was wide, and it didn't even go for a single point. So it's 7-6 in favor of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers over the Calgary Stampeders at the end of the first half of this afternoon's ball game. And now, our first guest this afternoon, here, you look a little cold, Jack. Jack Madison, sports editor of the Winnipeg Tribune. Jack, how about your comments on the first half of the game?
Well, I would say, Jack, that if the Calgary Stampeders are ever going to be Winnipeg, this would have to be the day. And the whole thing was rather ridiculous. I think they should be up about 3 touchdowns by now. They get inside the 25-yard line 3 times, come away with 6 points. If this is the best they can do, I foresee dire circumstances for Calgary, because they have mastered Winnipeg thoroughly in that first half. Only 6 points. I think they surprised Winnipeg, Jack, by coming out running the way they did. Winnipeg was ready for passing, and they got running.
Good evening, football fans. This is Jack Wells along with Brad Keene, welcoming you to another